way to the healers, and for some reason I got derailed. The AI and the GPS 1972 pre-GPS sent me this way, which is an hour out of my way, and it was complete another hour. And it's funny, I'm driving, do you see that thing? It looks like it was just dropped in the middle, like that was that. It's crazy, it's a giant basket. That's a giant basket. I've never seen anything like that. Maybe you guys might want to check and see that. It's crazy. Just to give you a scope of the scale of it. You can see here are some other buildings. That's how big that thing is. There's a school bus. And maybe that's why the GPS sent me this way. Wanted to show me a big basket. I don't know. Crazy. Whatever. And there's Budweiser over here. I did want to point out something because it's funny because that does remind me of something I was thinking about on my way here, which has been a really wild trip because this has been the nicest the roads have ever been in Ohio that I've ever driven. I don't know why it sent me this way, but yeah, it's been a real nice trip so far. Am I supposed to go straight or am I supposed to turn? I don't know. But anyhow, it just reminded me that, you know, I was thinking about this on this trip here that it's a good possibility. The reason why it's so confusing and things feel like we're in a simulation, like just seeing that basket was, it's like in like a video game land where something was just dropped, oversized and dropped there. But it's a possibility that the simulation idea is
In
not...
2 miles, use the right 2 lanes to take the Ohio 79 South exit toward Heath.
Okay, towards Eve. Alright, so anyhow, it's a possibility that did it say right 2 lanes? That the simulation, there is a simulation running in duality with a natural reality. Like, that can be a possibility that most people, almost nobody's really even thought of. Like, it's an overlay of a simulation and, oh gosh, there we go with all this nonsense. A simulation with a natural reality running at the same time. And I'm gonna have to put more thought into understanding this thing, and then I'll do a video on it perhaps. Because that's what it's hard to say that this is not a simulation, but then again, there's a lot of things that say it doesn't make sense to be a simulation. So it's like some kind of an overlay of a simulation on top of a natural reality. It's very, very bizarre. But if we're talking alien technology, how would you understand that anyhow? You wouldn't. You know, it can't be that simple. You know, you're talking about technology coming from a mind that doesn't function or work anything the way a human's mind works.
In half a mile, use the right 2 lanes to take the Ohio 79 South exit toward Heath.
Eve? Is that thing saying Eve? Newark? I just passed Newark. Or I'm going through Newark or whatever. But yeah, it might be something to keep in mind, and I'll do more.
Use the right 2 lanes to take the Ohio 79 South exit, then keep left.
Okay. Eve. Oh. Eve. Like Heath Bar. Okay.
Keep left, then continue onto Ohio 79 South.
I thought it was saying Eve. I'm like, what? Yeah, I don't know why the AI in the GPS sent me this way. I have no idea. Like, my trip should have been 2 hours, like 2.5 hours. And as I was leaving, it literally told me when I got on the highway, found a better route. And it said found a better route. And then it redirected me
Continue on Ohio 79 south for 9 miles.
on a completely different direction. And I'm like, what the hell? What do you mean found a better route? And after I got onto this other road that it told me to go on, like immediately where it told me to go, it went from 2.5 hours to my trip to being there at 1 o'clock to being there at 2 o'clock. So how is it possible? I don't know why this thing is shaking so much. How is it possible that that's a better route? I mean, that doesn't make any sense. It's supposed to be smart, isn't it? Isn't the AI supposed to be smart enough to find you, to make your time less? It extended my time by, I don't know why this thing keeps shaking like that. I'm sorry, guys. That's annoying. Here, I'll tell you what, look at him. There you go. I mean, it's supposed to make it so it's less time, so you can get there quicker. And it just doesn't make any sense. Right? Like, it completely took me an hour out of my, like, it went from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. And it said, found a better route. And that's the route it put me on. The 2 o'clock route. What do you mean you found a better route? It doesn't make any sense. So that's what I'm doing. This is the first town I've seen in an hour and a half. Like, it's been nothing but back, like this long highway of nothing but like back country. You know, no city. This was the first time I came up to a city. But yeah, it's just, and at first I was real angry, right? Like as I was going, I was like, what the hell? And I minimized the map and I looked at it and I was like, this doesn't make any sense at all. This is crazy. And at first I was angry, but then I was thinking the AI is sending me on a different direction for some reason, right? So now I'm trying to understand a lot of things, why things are happening like they're happening. And that's what led me down the path of, you know, it's a possibility that there is a simulation AI that's running that is some type of, like, you may say like another dimension is crossed over with natural reality, but what if your understanding of it as a dimension is really just a simulation, right? Like some type of a way that there's some type of computer that's alien technology that's actually able to interact with a natural reality on a planet, right? Like they come to your planet and they put their own simulation to run over top of it, and it just kind of like bleeds in to what your natural, what the natural reality is that we're experiencing. We all know, well, most people know that there's been a crazy change, like obviously Mandela effect, but those things just all of a sudden came out of nowhere. They're just like boom, probably 1972, but anyhow, it just came out of nowhere, right? So it's like, if you can imagine, if you will, a computer system ran by, and by the way, of course, other alien species who have computers and stuff like that from, you know, different planets and things like that, they got their own AIs running, right? So they come here with an AI system that is, you know, 1 million years advanced past what we are right now. 1 million years more advanced. And that system, when they go to planets that are inhabited by a lesser species, and I truly mean you're a lesser species as a human compared to something that's 1 million times more advanced, that's still, because you literally are, as humans, you're still primitive. You don't even understand. Most humans don't understand. You're still primitive. And so they come here and they run their system. They dig down into the ocean or whatever, or they sit up on the moon, and they somehow project their AI, their simulation, that kind of overlayers the natural reality, so that way they can monitor every single thing all at once at any time. In other words, it don't matter who you are, what you're doing, where you are, they can literally just have the AI tell everything about you and what you're doing at that point in time. Does that make sense? Do you guys kind of understand that overlay of what I'm talking about? Like, it's there, And there's nothing that, as a human, you can do nothing about it. You just have to let the thing go. It's the same thing as, like, because, see, that's a problem. Humans all want control. Humans all want to believe that they're in control of their own lives. Hell, I want to believe that too. You know, but obviously that's just not the case. There are things that literally are directing and guiding me to go in a certain direction, to do a certain thing, to go on a certain path. And now I'm kind of just letting go of the steering wheel, per se. You know, I'm not driving with both hands anymore. I'm driving with one hand. You know, I've kind of let go of one hand and just let this thing just take me where it's supposed to take me. Well, that's a nice little city here. Have you guys, you ever heard of White Castle? Let's see. It's like down in Florida. We had a place down there. It's called Crystals. I don't know if they're still around, but it's just almost the same thing. But yeah, that's what it feels like, and I'm starting to think that because there's just too much overwhelming evidence with the 1972 and the 2020 connections, and how those things are just not by chance, right? Like, there's too much that's going on here that looks like a simulation, but at the same time, there's a lot of stuff that would not add up for a simulation because it breaks the, like I said, it breaks the immersion, right? It breaks the whole thing that you realize that, no, there's just not possible because it makes it too easy to say we're in a simulation. When you become aware that it's actually a simulation, if you're in a simulation, then the simulation no longer is functioning correctly. I don't know if you understand that or not, but it's not that hard to get. Video game programmers work on this all the time to stop people from breaking immersion. So yeah, it's a good possibility we're in a dual reality simulation with a natural reality.